Kayuk, and welcome everyone to our medicine walk. I'm Chloe Sanchez, also known as Janessah McIntosh, and I am the creator of this practice called Medicine Walk. I've been a medicine woman for several years now, since I created the Medicine Woman Project in 2017, and medicine walks are a part of that practice. I'll speak more about medicine walks after Janessah introduces herself.
Hi, my name's Janessah and I work alongside Chloe.
So before we start any medicine walk, we want to make sure that we're prepared. So we have a medicine walk essentials pack list here. So you're going to want to have some Kleenex. You're going to want to have some type of medicinal kit. So here I've got some Finito Mosquito bug spray, of course. I've got my wallet. I've got some lotion for any cuts or burns or scrapes that might happen. I've also got a flashlight. I've got my herbal book and guide. I have a journal for any sketching of plants that I might want to do. And there's a pen in there somewhere.
I know where it is.
And a pen. And last but not least, I've got some essential oil, if I can find it. And like any essential oil will do, like tea tree or chamomile's good.
Got it. And this is eucalyptus blue.
So yeah, you want to make sure that you are absolutely prepared. So just to go over it one more time, medicine walk essentials include a knapsack or a fanny pack so you can be hands-free, a med kit with band-aids. Oh, there's some band-aids in there. Oils for first aid, homemade is fine, polysporin, gauze, Slav. You want to have some bug spray, some Kleenex or tissue, flashlight, a compass, but you can use your phone, map, you can also use your phone, hat or sunglasses depending on the weather. Medicine bag or pouch or even a satchel, and a phone for taking pictures for plant identification. You can also use a sketchbook. So before we start any medicine walk, we always stretch. So join us for a nice light stretch. So before we do any medicine walk, we want to do a simple stretch. So we're going to start with a forward bend. So arms all the way up to the sky, reach high, and then come all the way down as far as you can go. And you're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then gently come up. And let's do that one more time. All the way up, reach to the sky, and come forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently come up. Look to your left. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look to your right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center. This requires a little bit of balancing, but you're going to lift up your right leg and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now with your left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Che-okay. Let's begin our medicine walk. Before we start any medicine walk, we want to make sure we're prepared. Preparation ensures we have the most rewarding experience with our medicine walk. You need to be prepared for the season. We are doing our medicine walk during mid-autumn, so we are dressed for fall. Thick sweaters, warm pants, and shoes that have good grip. I'm a hiker. I'm a hiker, so I've got my hiking sticks. I left them in the car, but usually on a different terrain, I would have hiking sticks with me. You don't need them per se, but if you're doing a trail or a hill with lots of ups and downs and changing ground levels, you'll probably want to invest in some good hiking sticks. They are also great for winter as the bottoms are interchangeable and have picks on them that bore and grip the snow. I always have a fanny pack or a small knapsack with me, and in it I keep things like my phone, notebook for sketching plants, various items for emergency, and natural disinfectant. The items in your fanny pack will change according to the terrain you are traveling. and with the seasons.
What is a medicine walk?
A medicine walk is the practice of observing and connecting with plants to explore and understand their medicinal and spiritual uses. I teach more in depth about medicine walk in my classes, courses, and workshops.
What's so special about doing a medicine walk during the full moon?
This is a time for planting new seeds and for moving into larger spaces. There are many practices that take place during the full moon, and medicine walks help to support these various practices. For example, depending on where you are doing your medicine walk, you can use the plants you discover for your altar, for cleansing, or for nourishment. What's special about the moon being in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars, for this medicine walk?
Well, astroherbalism is about understanding the connection between plants and planets. For example, pine is connected to the planet Mars, which is ruled by Aries. So we will be learning about pine during our medicine walk today and exploring its diverse uses and how it relates to our well-being.
So we've done our 3-minute stretch. It's crucial that our joints and muscles stay limber and not stiff so we can move with agility through the trail and keep up with the changes in elevation. This path in particular has some quite steep hills, so I would recommend doing this trail only if you are physically able and have the experience. I've walked this trail many times before with Janessah, and we've decided to focus on 4 plants because there are so many plants and so many trees along this trail. We could easily become overwhelmed trying to identify all of them. It's important to note that I do not recommend doing a medicine walk without an herbalist or a medicine woman or man. There are many plants that are all beautiful but could potentially be harmful, especially if not handled properly.
I also do not recommend foraging on your own without an expert or taking any of these herbs or plants to cure any illness or ailment without the guidance of a neuropath, herbalist, or physician.
Also, I wouldn't do a medicine walk with just anyone, as I cannot vouch for others and what they might do, and if they haven't taken my course. Medicine woman and medicine man practices. I cannot say they are actually practicing the authentic medicine walk. So with that, let's begin. The first plant that we are going to look at is riverbank grape. So let's walk over to it. So all along here, we have the glorious riverbank grape. Look at the vines, look at the leaves, look at the way she stretches all the way up. Riverbank grape is also known as frost or wild grape, common throughout southern Ontario. You can find this vine growing almost anywhere. When found growing away from city waste and pollution, they are safe to eat and to harvest. Take note, they can be quite tart, the juice is sour, delicious, and complex. This is a woody vine and it's native to North America. It blooms in late to early summer and it can smother other plant life if it grows into other tree and plant canopies. Janessah is going to talk to you more about the indigenous uses.
Indigenous uses. The vines themselves are used for basketry, and the fibers, vines, and roots were made into animal traps, thread, and cordage.
Indigenous medicinal uses. The juice is used to treat coughs and colds. A mixture of plant leaves can be used to treat sprains and bruises. Boiled leaves and grapes are used in tea to treat post-childbirth women. It's also used for gastrointestinal and kidney ailments and as a reproductive and fertility aid. Culinary uses.
The grapes are made into jellies, pies, juices, wine, and teas. The leaves can be used to wrap and grill seafood.
Symbolism, ritual, and ceremony. So let's just have a great look at the riverbank grape again as I talk about that. This plant symbolizes fertility, magic, and mental powers. Riverbank grape connects to Aries through the rulership of the head. You can use this plant in ritual and ceremony in so many ways. For example, placing some leaves on your altar, drinking some juice or wine during your practice, or using the roots and vines in a limpia or cleansing. There are really so many ways to use this incredible plant. Spiritually, riverbank grape represents our connections to our roots, our ancestors, and our past. Using riverbank grape to connect with Aries through your head by placing the flowers of the head on your head. Sorry, by placing the flowers on your head or your hair. Aries is also responsible for your energy levels, and grapes are a great source of carbohydrates and proteins, which stabilize your energy levels. Awesome. So now we are going to go on a hunt for some pine. So one of the things that you can do if you don't have your walking sticks with you is you can walk with a friend who can help to stabilize your balance during changes in elevation. So are there any plants or trees that exhibit the characteristics of the sign Aries?
Chokecherry is definitely one of them. It exhibits territorial qualities, just like the Aries sign, as well as strength, which is also associated with the Aries sign.
Wow.
They also exhibit other qualities such as boldness,
Right.
directness,
Right?
and passion.
And passion. Beautiful. That actually brings to mind the tree box elder, which is a tree that can definitely hold its own. So what I think is lovely about this Aries full moon medicine walk is that there is so much of the color red represented in the leaves and the nature and the autumn. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, the change of season is definitely a reflection of the color red that's usually associated with Aries. Mars is also associated with red, which is Aries' ruling planet, and it really represents and shows that assertiveness that Aries people can sometimes carry. The color red is also Aries people's power color, so they should lean towards that around Aries full moons.
Beautiful. As we're walking, I've noticed some burdock growing, and burdock loves to grow everywhere. I go to Sunnybrook Park and I see burdock. I'm in my neighborhood and I see burdock, and burdock is known as a blood detoxifier, so it's really, really good for cleansing the blood and for creating a good detox for your system. So this is great that it's just growing here naturally. It grows everywhere. Here's some Canadian goldenrod. Here we have some European spindle.
Looks like mini pumpkins.
I love it. So we've come to our second plant, pine. I love pine. I love pine. I love pine. And if you do a medicine walk and pine happens to be the plant that speaks to you, what you would want to do with that information and that knowledge is heal yourself. And that's one of the things that I teach people to do during my medicine walks. So I really hope that we can do one in person together in the future.
There are so many species of pine trees that the exact number is unknown, but the guess is somewhere around 180 different species.
All over the world, the tall evergreens of various pine tree species grace the landscape, with the ability to grow in harsh conditions such as mountaintops and intense cold. Pines reveal themselves as some of the strongest vegetation on the planet. A masculine spirit plant, pine helps you awaken to your creative nature and strengthen your capacity to merge spiritual life with earthly life. Pine's wood is often used in building, and these trees have an affinity for aiding human survival. They help sustain life in perilous times due to their edible inner bark. I don't know if we can get a close up of some of this bark right here. Look at the trunk of it. They help sustain life in perilous times due to their inner bark and foliage, as well as vitamin C content. And that is why pine needle tea is some of the best tea that you could ever make for yourself. It's absolutely delicious, and it is healing on so many levels. The needles can be steeped for a nutritious tea or nibbled during the spring when they are tender. American Indians have used pine resin as a disinfectant. It can be used on wounds, sore muscles, burns, and insect bites, or chewed like gum as a remedy for coughs and colds. Pollen collected from immature cones. Can we find a cone? All right, Janessah will find a cone. Pollen collected from immature cones helps to boost testosterone levels, providing energy in times of need. So this tea would be especially good for women who suffer from estrogen imbalance.
The mighty pine comes into your life at a time when there is work to be done. After all, awakening creativity requires the strength to make the space in your life for creation. This is a time of heightened senses, a time to trust your intuition. Pine invites you to engage in all your senses, to breathe in the crisp air of pine forest, to touch the sticky sap of the creation. The pine spirit is deeply sensual and energizes the connection between the sacral chakra and the third eye.
Right next to some riverbank grape, on our way to find some box elder, we found some cedar. I absolutely love cedar. When we connect with cedar energy, when we connect with any plant energy, we always want to make sure that we're making a sacred exchange, that it's balanced, that it's reciprocal, that it's mutual. So if you were on private property or if you were out in the wild and you found some cedar and you wanted to take some, you would leave an offering, right? It could be some tobacco, it could be a lock of hair, it could be any type of keepsake, but the importance is to maintain that exchange of energy, that flow with nature. And cedar is one of those plants that has so many medicinal properties, and it's also used in ritual and for spirituality. It's known as a plant of protection. And so planting cedar in your backyard, having cedar in your home kind of invites that protective and secure energy to encapsulate you. One of the reasons it's so important to do a medicine walk with a medicine woman or a medicine man, medicine woman like myself, is that as you're guided along the path and certain plants speak to you, we'll be able to guide you as to what that plant really can do for you and how it can show up for you in your life. So, beautiful sacred cedar. I love you, I love you, I love you.
And it smells delicious.
Oh, the smell. Yeah, oftentimes when I am doing my smudging bowl, I'll include some cedar and I'll include some Dakota sage. Never buffalo, always Dakota. So some of the ways that Aries and the planet Mars connects to pine is through its capacity to endure harsh situations. Do you want to speak more about that?
Yeah, Aries resilience definitely shares some qualities between the pine plant, and they both share qualities of strength.
So we are actually still on the hunt for chokecherry. It is our third plant on the list. So we've decided to talk a little bit about chokecherry as we go on the hunt to find it. So let's go. We're having a stretch break. So we haven't found chokecherry yet. It's proving quite difficult to find, but we're going to talk a little bit about it along the way. So chokecherry is rarely planted in gardens because the aroma is too strong. It also has a really strong and bitter taste. It's also known as berry or wild cherry. It's an invasive species and chokes out vegetation where it grows. The berries appear in July and August. This plant can be a tree or shrub, which explains why we're having such a hard time trying to find it, depending on the habitat. The bark is stripped from the trunks and lower branches during the fall for various uses throughout the winter and is used in archery equipment. Parts of the tree can be tillered to make good hunting bows depending on the girth, and the berries are also used for dye. Indigenous culinary uses. Used by both indigenous tribes and European settlers, particularly important to the Cheyenne and Blackfoot tribes and other tribes in North Dakota, it's used traditionally in many culinary dishes. The berries can be eaten raw or dried to make a mixture called pemmican. More about pemmican in a moment. The Apache grind dried chokecherries and press them into cakes to store for winter months. The fresh fruit can be made into jelly, syrup, or fermented into wine.
Yum.
The berries are collected in early fall for year-round use. How to make cakes and pemmican. Okay, so to start, you take some dark purple fresh berries and mash them with the pit still inside into a gritty paste. Then shape into small patties and leave to dry in the sun for 7 days. You store these patty cakes to make a pudding mixture of root flour, water, maple tree sap or syrup, and some box elder. To make pemmican, you simply add buffalo, elk, or deer meat to your pudding. Both ways, pudding or pemmican, are popular among tribes from Canada to Mexico.
Indigenous medicinal uses. The roots and bark are used for tea to treat anxiety, colds, diarrhea, and tuberculosis. Berries are eaten to aid digestion and soothe stomach pain. A common remedy for head colds involves grinding and smoking the bark like tobacco. I recently learned from the Native Memory Project that this plant uses include cancer cure / prevention, sore throats, and general health. This plant is reversed by both tribes of the Rockies and shortgrass prairie tribes for its food and medicine. The dried inner bark peeled from the outer bark is used during the winter months for sore throat and winter illness. The inner bark is high in fiber and vitamin C. Biomedics have shown chokecherry to be therapeutic for cardiovascular health and certain forms of cancer.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
The inner bark should be collected during mid to late summer to avoid high toxin levels in early to late spring.
Indigenous spiritual uses. In ceremony, it's used to make a ceremonial smoking mixture called kinnikinnick. Kinnikinnick is a herbal smoking mixture made of leaves and bark. Recipes for this mixture vary, as do the uses from social to spiritual and to medicinal. Symbolism for chokecherry. Chokecherry symbolizes death, endurance, connection to the supernatural. Chokecherry connects with Aries through territory and taking charge. Aries are territorial, just like the chokecherry plant. Chokecherry is an invasive plant that chokes out the plants around it, establishing dominance, territory, and strength, just like the ruling planet of Aries, Mars. Spirituality. Chokecherry represents our connection to the supernatural. Ways to use chokecherry in ceremony are so many. To get started, you might pick some leaves and place them in the corners of your home for strength and protection. Or you might leave some juice on your altar for your cabal. Let's go find some box elder. Here, we have come to the final plant or tree on our medicine walk. It's box elder. The leaves have already started to change, but as you can see here, it has 3 lobes and a very distinctive leaf shape that lets you know, hello, I am a mature box elder. When they're younger, their branches and their trunks tend to twist and bend in all different types of ways. Pro tip, box elder is sometimes used in place of maple sap in pemmican. Box elder is also known as Manitoba maple. Box elder differs from other maples because it has both male and female trees. These are easy to tell apart by the way the male stamens fall and droop downwards, whereas the female has bright green pistils that slightly curve upwards. Both bloom around the same time. It's actually known as a less desirable tree because its leaves fall everywhere and make a giant mess. The trunks are easily bendable and twist in strange and unique ways. However, this tree is so important to our ecosystem and to preserving and strengthening native plant species in Ontario. We should love box elder because they drop leaves and fruit well into the winter, and this is crucial for our entire ecosystem. There is a list of wildlife that depend on box elders, and we can always start with the 300 species of moths and butterflies, including birds who love their seeds. Box elder is also wind tolerant. which means it provides protection and a shelter belt for plantlings. This is why box elder should be on the list for native plant preservation. They are tough and persistent, and with all this pressure on our natural environment and native species being eroded and invaded by non-native plant species, we need a tree that can hold its own. It's tough and aggressive and can go up against and compete with a host of non-native invasive plant species. I've got box elder growing in my backyard. Softness of box elder wood makes it ideal for firewood and charcoal and humble furniture. Ceremonial uses. The charcoal from box elder is used for ceremonial painting and tattooing. Numerous tribes also use box elder for special purposes like bowls, drums, pipe systems, and prayer sticks. Culinary uses. Plains natives use the sap to make sugar. The sap itself contains a good quantity of sugar and can be used as a drink, syrup, or sweetener. The sap of box elder is whiter than other maples. To get the sap, so Janessah is going to demonstrate this here for all of us. To get the sap, you bore a hole on the sunny side of the tree. So the sun is on this side, so we can easily identify that we're on the right side of the tree. You bore a hole about 1 meter above ground anytime between June 1st until the leaves appear. Pro tip, flow is best on a warm day. The inner bark can be eaten raw or cooked, and it can be dried and ground into a powder that is used for thickener in soups, breads, and cakes.
Ceremonial uses. As I mentioned before, the Dakota people and the Omaha people make the wood into charcoal, which is used in ceremonial painting and tattooing. The Kiowa burn the wood in the altar fire during the Piowit ceremony. The Cheyenne burn the wood as incense for making spiritual medicines and during sun dance ceremonies. The Meskwaki use a decoction of the inner bark as an emetic. The Ojibwa use an infusion of the inner bark for the same purpose. Symbolism. Persistence, warmth, and sincerity. Role in our ecosystem. Fruit stays on the tree throughout the winter. Box elder serves as an important source of food for the wildlife. Deer like to eat leaves, while birds and squirrels eat seed of box elder. Box elder can be used to stabilize the soil and prevent erosion of riverbanks.
So box elder is symbolic of big Aries energy. And it reminds us that toughness and persistence are required to stand our ground and show up for ourselves every single day. There are many examples of how box elder can be used in ceremony, and my favorite is to add branches and sticks to my bonfire. As you can see, I would just pick off some of these or break off some of these dry branches. With each branch I add to my fire, I reaffirm my commitment to myself, to my family, and to my community. This also connects us to the fiery energies of Mars and Aries as we add to our ceremonial fires plants and herbs that support our strength, tenacity, and vigor. That brings us to the end of our medicine walk. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to learn more about medicine walks or would like to participate in an in-person medicine walk, stay updated with us through Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. To close, we always stretch before and after any physical activity. The deep stretch for us brings it all together: mind, body, spirit, and environment. So let's stretch and end. Wonderful. So you're joining us for our final stretch. So we're going to begin with some arm stretches. So we're just going to raise our arms up. We're going to bring the right one across like this. And you can hold it for much longer if you want to. The left one across like this. And the right arm across so. And then the left arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's just do a simple lunge by bringing our right leg forward and leaning in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we step back. And our left leg comes forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We step back. Raise up to the sky. Deep forward bend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center and to our hearts. Che-oke. Thank you so much for joining us on this medicine walk. Bye.